Welcome. My name is Brennan Hightower, career counselor here at Parkland College. In this video, we're going to cover asking for references. Typically in this setting, when we think of references, we think of job applications and we think of scholarship applications. So with that in mind, let's talk about what are references. References are people who are able to describe your character, your abilities, your accomplishments, and work performance to a potential employer or scholarship committee. Now that we have an understanding of what a reference is, let's talk about the two most common types of references. Typically, we hear about personal references and we hear about professional references. But what's the difference? Personal references. A personal reference is someone who knows you relatively well and can attest to who you are as a person. It's important to know a personal reference is different from a professional reference. And when we think about employers and people who are hiring, they're typically looking for a professional reference. But it's important to know a personal reference doesn't necessarily need to be someone that you've worked with. Now we've covered personal references. So who could be a potential personal reference? Let's see, volunteer leaders, friends, coaches, and even neighbors, just to name a few. With that in mind, I want you to take 60 seconds and write down 3 potential personal references that you can ask. Go. All right, were you able to come up with 3? If not, no problem. Come back to it later. Now let's move on. So we covered personal references. So now let's take a dive into professional reference. A professional reference is someone you've worked with who can attest to your work skills and habits. When we think of people in terms of who they could be, how about considering professors or academic advisors, colleagues, directors, and even supervisors? And that's just to name a few. So here we go again. One more 60-second activity. I want you to take 60 seconds and write down 3 potential professional references that you can ask. Go. All right, were you able to come up with 3? If not, that's okay. The idea is to get you thinking, and you can always come back to it later. Now that we've discussed personal and professional references, it's important to note that a good reference can be the difference between you and another applicant with a similar application and resume. With this information in mind, it's important to think about the people that you want to ask to be references and give them a heads up. You want to make sure that you ask them. So if you're unfamiliar with how to ask for a reference, let's go over to the next slide. In this slide, the Balanced Careers has come up with a really nice image or infographic on how to ask for a reference. In this infographic, they have included so much great information. So if you're unfamiliar with how to ask, let's go over some of this now. Number 1, you want to choose someone who thinks highly of you and can speak about your professional skills. Next, you want to make sure that you ask for permission before sharing their name on any application, okay? In addition to that, once you've gotten the okay, make sure that you spell everything correctly. So their name, their email address, you have the correct phone number, and you know their correct title, okay? When asking for a reference, always give an easy way to decline because yes, it is possible. And you want to be polite and warm. Next, mention to them why they would be an ideal reference for you. In what capacity do they know you? Next, you want to provide them with information that's going to help give them information to create the best reference possible. This information could include your current resume, your prospective job or the scholarship, as well as relevant skills. And once you've done all this and you've secured the job and or the scholarship, be sure to send a thank you note. People want to make sure that they are appreciated. The next question that I get is, well, how many references should I have? Actually, I don't think there's a wrong answer to this, but it's always a nice rule of thumb to have at least 3 to 5 and have a mix of personal and professional references. Because what usually happens is during an application for a job or even for a scholarship, they'll usually specify if they would like personal or professional references. But if you have a list already ready to go, you shouldn't have any problem. Lastly, save your information, save your documents. So once you have everything in place, just save it in one place where you can access it. People use thumb drives, people use their clouds. Whatever is a good fit for you, do that. Because what happens is this will allow you to move throughout the process, whether it's a job application or scholarship application, without having the frustration of having to stop, save, and return later to complete the application. Well, there we have it. In this short video, we've covered what is a reference, the difference between personal and professional references, having at least 3 to get you started, and always asking ahead of time. So that wraps it up. For more information, feel free to email careerservices@parkland.edu or follow us on Instagram at Cobra's Career Services.